This is multiple sections, so it's a little unusual, but still it's nothing difficult. All right. So again, we're starting out with the last section of chapter 10, which had to do with the fundamental counting principle. All right, and trying to figure out how many different options are available for you. All right, so let's take a look here at number 1. It says, Joan randomly dials a 7-digit phone number. All right, so if you dial a 7-digit phone number, that means there are how many things that you are doing? 7. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to get in the habit of saying, if there are 7 events, that's what we have. Now, when you hit a button, how many possibilities are there? 10, right? So you have 10 possibilities in the first one. You have how many possibilities for the second one? 10, and so on. All right, is everybody happy with that? Now, that, listen to me, is 10 to the 7th power, which just means it's a 1 with how many zeros? 7. All right, you should know that. So that should be a 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. So there are how many different phone numbers? There are 10 million different phone numbers. There are 10 million different phone numbers. All right? Anybody have any questions with that? All right? So now let's take a look at number 3. All right? I want to take a look at number 3. And you got number 1 right, so you're good. Okay? Everybody look at number 3. We're going to do the odds together. All right? It says, a winter sweater comes in wool or fleece with a zipper or a crew neck and in 3 colors. So the question is, how many different sweaters are there? Will?
So you have to add like the wool and fleece, that's 2 plus 2. So that's 7, and you have 7.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. You get to pick. You get to pick between wool and fleece. So how many options do you have? 2. All right. Then you get to pick whether it's a zipper or a crew neck. 2 choices there. Then you do 3 colors. So this is what we're looking at. All right. So there will be how many different options? There will be 12 different options. All right. Any questions with that?
Nope.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at question number 5. Now we're going to try to find the probability. All right. It says a number cube is rolled. What is the probability of rolling a 4 or lower? What do you think?
I think you do 4 over 6.
4 over 6. Exactly. Right? And then, of course, you're just going to reduce that down to 2/3. All right, that's not that bad. All right. Now, let's take a look at number 7. It says a coin is tossed and a card is drawn. So let's have 2 events. What is the probability of landing on heads? Well, 1/2. Perfect. So the first one is going to be 1/2. And what is the probability of choosing a heart? 1/4. Does everybody agree with that? Because there are 4 suits: hearts, spades, clubs, diamonds. So there are 1/4. And what's the fundamental counting principle again? Multiplying. You with me? So your final answer here would be what?
1/8.
1/8 of the time. 1/8 of the time, you're going to get a head and a heart. Everybody do that? All right, number 9. Eddie has 5 different color shirts and 7 ties. How many different outfits are possible? What do you think?
Is it just 5 times 7?
Yep, just 5 times 7. Again, I would prefer if you do this and write 5 times 7. All right. Number 11. A number cube is tossed and the spinner below is spun. Find the probability of getting an odd number and C. So we have two things rolling, correct? So here we go. What's the probability of getting an odd number?
3.
Out of?
3 out of 6.
3 out of 6, which is?
1
half, right? So half the time. Then, what's the probability of getting a C? Is that right? 3 out of 8? So then it would be 1/2 times 3/8, which is 3 out of 16. All right, so that's a pretty good review now of that section. All right, does anybody have any questions with those odds? Nobody? All right, let's continue on now. All right, let's see if you remember this. M and N are parallel. M and N are parallel. So I want everybody to write down angle 2 is 45 degrees. So this right here is 45 degrees. And I want to go around the room and I want someone to try to tell me another angle. Or I want somebody to tell me another angle. Julian, what do you think?
Oh, I was just trying to.
I still want you to try to tell me.
3 equals 45.
Yes, very good. 3 is 45 degrees. Now the reason why it's 45 degrees, remember those are vertical angles. Those are vertical angles. All right, Julian, what else?
Number 1 is 135.
Yes, 135. Now angle 1 is 135 degrees. The reason why it's 135 degrees is because, yes, they have to add up to 180. All right? They add up to 180. Yes. Tell me. 4 is 135 also. All right. Listen, you just can't continue to do that. You're acting as if no one else is in the room, no one else is working. You just continue to interrupt. I'm trying to ignore you. I don't care. All right, here we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. All right, now I need someone to try to help me out, figure out what the other 4 are going to be. Somebody, tell me. Caroline, what do you think? 6 would definitely be 45 degrees. Thank you very much. All right, we say that's a corresponding angle with 2. And those are equal. All right, somebody else. What else do we know now? Abby. 7 is definitely 45 degrees. Very good. And what about Jess? 5?
5 would be 130.
And also?
8 would be 130.
Yes, good work. 135 degrees. And 135 degrees. Everybody needs to know that. All right? Everybody needs to be able to do that tomorrow. So now, fill those in for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. All right, put those answers in. All right, and then we're going to skip 19 through 24 because that's what? Same thing. All right, that's exactly the same thing. All right. Now let's take a look at number 25. All right, for angle 25, classify the pair of angles shown, then find the value of x in each figure. So I want you to describe those angles. What are those angles right there? Number 25. What is that called? What type of angles? No. They're in fact called vertical angles. All right, I want everybody to make sure they put vertical angles down. Yes, 25. Those are vertical angles. So what would X be? X would be 108. Very good. $27. What are those two angles called? I'm doing 27.
Oh.
We're doing the odds. Look at 27. Yes, say it. Supplementary. All right? Supplementary. Now, why are they supplementary? They add up to 180. That's exactly right. So X in this case has to be how many degrees, guys? X has to be 9 degrees. Everybody okay with that? And then what about 29 again? Supplementary again. So everybody agree with that? So in that case, X would have to be, very good, 155. All right. Any questions with that? Remember, supplementary means they add up to 180. Complementary means that they add up to what? 90. And I always try to tell kids you can remember that by alphabetical order and numerical order. 90 comes before 180, C comes before S. Complementary is 90, supplementary is 180. All right, so now, here we go. Number 31, Q and R complementary. That means they add up to what? 90. So, angle R, the measure of angle R would have to be what? 66 degrees. Very good. All right. 33, the measure of angles A and B are complementary again. Wait a minute. Wow. I think I accidentally cut off the drawing.
No. I don't believe there is a needed.
So what would the answer be?
45.
Oh, it says equal. I didn't even see that. All right, thank you very much, Colin. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see the word where it said equal there. All right, so if they're complementary and equal, that means, Colin, they both have to be what?
Yeah, 45.
45 degrees. Thank you very much. All right, so A and B are both 45 degrees. All right, any questions with that? All right, let's check out 35. All right, the angles of a triangle always add up to what? 180. All right, so number 35. All right, I want someone to tell me what the measure of angle X is. Go ahead. Yep. X is equal to 85 degrees. Then it says, classify each triangle by its angles and by its sides. It would be acute and scalene. Acute and scalene. Any questions with that? All right, let's take a look at 37. Somebody tell me what the measure of angle X is.
Oh, I was doing that.
That's all right, 37. What is 37? Is it 48 degrees? Good job. If it's 48, how do I classify? It would be what? Acute and it would be isosceles. All right, I'm trying to think. Okay, let's try 39. All right, what about 39? What is angle X? I think it's 35 degrees. So it would be obtuse, very good, and isosceles, very good. Obtuse and isosceles. What? All right, 41. Now look, 41, everybody needs to put a star by 41. This is the one that's hard. All right, this is the one that's hard. It says, the measure of the angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 5 to 6 to 9. I'm definitely going to put this on the test. All right, so I want you to draw a triangle. And I want you to tell me what it means if the measures of the angles are in a ratio of 5 to 6 to 9. What does that mean? Ooh, multiply them by what, though?
180.
No, definitely not.
9.
3. Whatever number it is.
No. Now listen, if the ratio is 5 to 6 to 9, pay attention now, because we talked about it once earlier this week. I want you to remember that the angles would be 5x, 6x, and 9x. All right? So the angles would be in a ratio of 5x, 6x, and 9x. Everybody hear me on that? So now we have to do a little bit of algebra.
5x, 6x, and 9x.
That's exactly correct. 5x plus 6x plus 9x, then what happens? And then it equals 180. Very good. All right, so if you add those together, we get what? If I add, what's that?
20x.
20x equals 180, so x had to equal what?
9.
X equals 9. Is everybody happy with that? All right, I really don't want you copying it.
Oh, no.
All right.
Final product.
Now, again, I'm not sure that's the answer, though. I'm not sure that's the answer. It didn't say what is x. It wants to know the measure of the angles. So how do I figure out what the measure of the angles are? No, no, no.
9 times 9. 9 times 9.
There you go. This right here means 5 times 9. If x is 9, 5 times 9 is what? 45 degrees. What's 9 times 6?
54.
That means this over here is 54 degrees. And what's 9 times 9? That's 81 degrees. Is everybody okay with that? Very good. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I think that's a good review. Well, let me just go ahead and give you the formula. The sum of the measure of the interior angles. Anybody remember the formula for that?
Minus 2.
How
Like the
many
angles
sides?
minus 2.
How about not necessarily the angles, but the sides, even though angles would be okay. All right? We generally say the sum is equal to n minus 2 times what? 180, right there. The sum of the angles is n minus 2 times 180. And what does n represent again? The number of sides. All right, so you got your work cut out. That formula, just have to write it out that many times. Now, who remembers how to find each angle? Very, very good. Very good. You do the same thing, except now you divide by n. Very nice. All right, so I want everybody to write down the interior angle is equal to n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. That's the formula that you're using for those problems, 52 through 57. So bear with me. Shh. All right. Now what I want to look at is, what's the formula for circumference of a circle?
C equals pi times
C equals pi times d, or C equals,
radius pi times r to the second power.
what is it?
R to the second
No.
pi times r to the second
Pi times r times what?
2.
2, right. Or 2 pi r. Those are the formulas you can use for circumference. All right. Now, area of a circle. What's the formula for area of a circle?
Or pi r squared.
There we go. Pi r squared. And I think that's it. All right. So your job right now is I laid out the formulas. What do I want you to do for homework? Yes, I want you to do the odds. All right. That's what I want you working on right now. All right. And most of the problems were just plugging in numbers. Some of the work problems a little bit harder. Those of you guys that want to make an A on the test tonight, you can do a little bit extra, correct?
So that's not number 6.
Yeah, so you can do some of the odds tonight. And then those of you who are super moted, right, Julian? You can go back and do some of the evens. What?
Could we take all of our notes and use the thing, take them, put them on the top of the page?
For what?
Just for easier access.
I'm not sure what. No, I would say yes if I knew.
Like we wrote down like the notes and like the formula or everything. Could we just put those on the top of the page?
On what page? Top of
On
what?
on this page for easier access.
Yeah, I don't care how you
Alright.
get organized. All right, get organized.